Hello, my beautiful creative creatures. Today I wanted to jump in and talk about a recent, I'm going to say, I think 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago, of Colleen from No Shame Sales Game talking with another higher up in another MLM. They're going to be talking about unpopular opinions in the MLM. So we're going to go through that and listen and judge what they had to say and see how much of that really measures up. I'm just curious about what they had to say. Granted, I heard about it. That was loud. Half of it.
In actually Rodan and Fields, and I had screenshotted this girl that I went to college with. One of her posts was just like this call. It said, dial into this phone number on Saturday. This is in 2016, and listen to an opportunity for 15 minutes. And I actually screenshotted it, but it's just funny to me. Like, we are eons ahead of that now.
It's crazy. Like, I even did a recorded call, like kind of like that, but not like trying. Yes, we've all done things that we
have, yeah.
But like that's the whole point of evolving, and like I feel like that some people are not. So we need to like bring us all up to speed, because when somebody sucks, like then it's like, you know how you can get like 100 compliments a day and then you get like one troll and you're like, oh my god, I'm worthless, I suck. And it's like 100 people said something nice to you today.
Yeah.
But if one person's doing it badly, then it's just like
it just sucks, because we are working so hard to make this differently. Just to recap for anyone hopping on, new or old to our page, both Colleen and I are really passionate about showing ways to be normal online, and that
I just find that part funny when she's like, ways to be normal online. What's so fun about normal? But also, like, I know what she's saying. She's like, let's normalize how the industry is, and let's make it not so tacky or misleading or all these things. But it's kind of hard to when you know the lack of success that people have. So to say that, it doesn't really make much of a difference regardless of how much you try, because it can be debunked instantly.
How to do that to attract sales, to attract teammates, to attract a community, whatever it is that you're selling, direct sell or not, especially for my account. I attract some realtors and whatnot. So the concept is the same. So today we wanted to address unpopular opinions, which I think is so fun and controversial. I'm going to obviously have Colleen kick it off first. She texted me some of hers, and I added 2 more to my list. Okay, you added 2.
Do we want to start with the one that we're like disagreeing on, or do we want
to let's do it, because I think this is going to be fun. Let's see where the road takes us. So you go first with your unpopular opinion.
Now, I will say, what I wrote was, don't invite me to a Facebook party.
Okay.
And then you were like, Facebook parties work. And I was like, no, I didn't say they don't work, but I don't want to be invited to them, so I'm not going to host them.
Okay, yes. Okay, so but tell me more about that. Tell me more about what you mean there, because you personally don't want to do one, but you know that they do work.
I don't. Like, I know that the keto diet would probably help me lose the last bit of baby weight, but I'm not going to do it, right? Like, it just doesn't got me. So
yeah.
I think it's just kind of like when it comes to our businesses, people, if it's like, you have to host a Facebook party, you have to send this script. It's like, no, if you don't like it, if it's something that you would never want to do, you don't have to do it.
True. Okay, I like it. She's amending it. She's amending her unpopular opinion.
I don't like Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook.
Yeah. Let's see. And in the comments, let us know, those of y'all who are watching. Do you get on your Facebook account or not? I would.
Know where everybody is. They're all on Facebook. I know.
No, but you're gonna be surprised, because when I just onboarded some girls this week, and I do say, get yourself a Facebook account, just because we train over there. But they're like, I don't have Facebook, and I was like, what? Like, you don't have Facebook? And so it is a breed of social sellers that are like Instagram all the way. So I hear you. Hey, so fine. It's a trick, a question / unpopular opinion what we're doing right now, because I think we actually are on the same page about them. So Colleen says, don't invite me to a Facebook party. And to be honest, I haven't joined and bought from, actually, no, I lie. I think I had someone add me to a Pampered Chef, and you can't help it with Pampered Chef. They have so many freaking gadgets. I got tagged in one video, and I was like, fine, I'm buying. That's fine. But I wasn't participating in like bingo and like, you know,
like,
send one funny gift. Yeah, I wasn't.
Clear my calendar. I have a Facebook event to go to tonight. No.
You add it to your Google account. No. So the thing is, guys, no one's going to take offense to this. Facebook parties for me and my personality and Colleen's as well, we're not really going to join them. However, I have 40 to 50-year-old women joining my team. They freaking love it. And guess what? They're going on trips all the time with these Facebook parties. And they're bringing on their other, it's attracting their tribe of other.
Okay, fair.
People. So it is. I did a big onboarding last night. And when I onboard people, I do basically say, pick your poison, pick your path. Are we doing the Instagram? Are we doing TikTok? Or are we going to go Facebook party route? And I let them choose. I present them with the tools.
Okay.
Because I'm willing to bet 50% of my volume as a team leader in direct sales still comes from my Facebook partiers. They're still freaking rocking them out. I don't get it. And I'm like, you couldn't let me sit through a 3-day party, you know, whatever.
Listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like,
Yeah.
If it is, here's my issue though. Like,
Yes.
I'll have people say like, oh, should I keep my VIP group up or should I do these Facebook parties? I'm not getting any traction. And I'm like, then what are you doing?
Wasting
like,
your time. Yeah.
But if you are getting traction and they are bringing in volume and it's working, I love that for you.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like
don't keep bashing your head into the wall, posting in your VIP group, and then you're like, the model doesn't work. It's like, no, just go on TikTok.
thing. Yeah. So yes, we will. I don't love it. I don't.
Yeah.
But like, but I do think it is kind of like generational. Like,
yeah,
40, 50, like that's where they are.
Total, it is. They love it, and they got money. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
they'll throw down some makeup sales.
Yes.
So,
and just like I'm not 20, I'm not on TikTok.
Oh
like,
yeah, same thing. I'm the biggest advocate for TikTok, but I have nothing on there.
No, same. Like I love it if it if it works, but like I just don't want everyone being like I have to do it.
You have to do that because that's the thing. Okay, so I think this is what bringing us to our true unpopular opinion. You don't have to listen to your upline.
Oh, I said it. Oh my God, it's so true.
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Okay. So that's what it comes down to. Is that.
Yeah, this unpopular opinion, I doubt will go over by the uplines, and they'll be a little annoyed. Regardless of if you think it's an unpopular opinion, I undoubtedly think that if you're the upline, I think it's gonna hit your ego. So, I doubt that you follow that, but that's just my opinion.
That because you were onboarded a certain way and given these scripts and told you how to do this, you ain't gotta do it.
You don't gotta do it, and that makes some leaders.
I know.
Great.
It does. It's because I don't know. As a control freak speaking myself, you get a little weary. You're like, you don't know what you're doing. But the thing is, most people have a good gut, and most people can understand if something's gonna fit with their personality or not. And
yeah.
They don't have to follow your onboarding system to a T. Show them the resources. I always joke when I do an onboarding, I'm like, it's like you're staying at my Airbnb and this is my house manual. I'm going to show you where the toilet paper's at. I'm going to show you where the outside fridge is, how to turn on the patio lights. And that way you know where everything's at. And then you get to choose and kind of buffet style it.
Yes, exactly. And I think we're talking about unpopular opinions. Like I want, if leaders feel triggered by this, that we need to do like some like talk.
Exploring for sure.
Why trigger you? Because if I think that this is the right way, but you do it this way and you're still bringing in volume, I don't care.
Right.
Like, but I only have a problem if you're like, well, I don't want to do that, and then you don't do anything. Well, that's completely
right.
But,
or my leader doesn't do that at all, so I'm not going to do that. I mean, it's kind of like the Facebook party thing. We could bring on someone right now. We won't because, but like, and she could be like, no, all day long, my unpopular opinion is your stupid reels don't do anything for me, but my parties work. And so, yeah, tomato. All right, I love it. Okay. Second thing, my unpopular opinion is that I wanted to say selling or trying to do a social selling business on Instagram, but having a private account is a waste of time. That is mine. Now, where do you fall with that? What are your thoughts on someone trying to grow a business on private, like being a private?
I understand private. I don't post pictures of my kids I've never posted pictures of my kids on the internet. You don't I'm very private, but I'm also very present on like my personal account.
Yeah.
But if you're having a private account, you're not going to meet new people. It's like going to a networking event and sitting in the back by yourself. Like you're not
sunglasses on, just folding your arms.
And I understand the safety aspect of it. Like if you want to grow, then you just have to be cognizant of what you're putting on the internet. Like
yeah,
private account.
Right. And a couple things just to note on that is you can archive pictures of your kids. You can go to, there's like 3 dots by your post. And
to that aspect, I do agree. That is understandable. If people want to stay private, that should be up to them. If they want to stay private, obviously, most times they're going to push in the MLM, like, you're going to have to get more people, so to be private will probably not get you very far, but that's just where I'm thinking is the aim that they have, but that's just my opinion.
And a couple things just to note on that is you can archive pictures of your kids. You can go to, there's like 3 dots by your post and you can put archive, and that way it still shows up for you, but for a stranger, they won't see it. Or you can delete pictures or start a new account, but when someone starts on private, I typically can guess right away that they were never asked in the very beginning of their social selling business what their goals were. They just were like, yeah, I'll join. And they were never like explained like comp plans, or they were never explained like how this works. Because if they truly sat down and got clarity on like what social selling could do for them, they'd understand that sacrifices come with it. And that of course it is so much smarter to be a public account than it is to.
Yeah. You have to make sacrifices?
Yes! Gosh, you guys, you can't just say you want to make X amount of dollars and just think it's going to
come out of nowhere.
There's always a sacrifice. Always. And sometimes that's being public.
Yeah. And that's, I think that a lot of people have this Amazon Prime generation now where it's like, well, I started and I want it my way and I want it fast and I want it like this instant gratification, and it takes time.
Yeah.
In fact, sorry, that's a whole different conversation.
No, but you're so right. That is a giant sacrifice that, I mean, I just did some voice messages to some artists this morning. And
yeah, but to what extent of sacrifices are needed? Because they always are like, oh, it's okay, you don't have to do that, blah, 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 blah. And so to be like, oh, you don't have to give up any time, it's just pockets of time, you don't have to designate hours upon hours, but yet they will, in the next breath, say you do. So that is where my issue is. You can't keep saying the sacrifices aren't needed, and then the next breath they are. And you don't have to worry about making any sacrifices, and then you say they will. So if you don't mean it, I guess in my opinion, I wish they would just be straightforward, because it's hypocritical, more or less, to do that, because you are essentially telling people, hey, it's okay, do as I say, not as I do. And that's what irritates me the most when it comes to these reps. If anything is worth losing time with your kids, to losing time with your spouse, financially crippling you, and also taking a hit on your mental health, they're not worth it. And for me, that's why I wish I could explain more to these reps. And I never want them to see what I post as an attack, because what they're taught isn't really what it is. They're taught one thing, and then in the next breath it's the next. They shouldn't just keep accepting it.
I was like, they're like, I just did a live, no one was on, it was so awkward. And I'm like, yeah, like what you said, time, baby. Like, it's just, I need you to rinse and repeat that like 50 more times.
Yes.
And that's probably an unpopular opinion, because sometimes what happens in our teen pages and on recognition boards is you see these women come in and like, her first month she sold $20,000 or whatever, and you start to think that that's what it is. But what I love about your account and your community that you have is that you normalize like the steady incline of social sellers, that it's not going to always look like you had 20 live viewers on your first live video.
Please.
Yeah.
And that's my next unpopular
yeah, let's go. Let's segue into it.
Is that if you're not super successful, like maybe you're making a couple hundred, and again, I don't know what this means, super successful, but when I was making $500 a month, like that's a sweet spot.
Oh yeah.
Your business. And people are like, I'm not successful enough yet. I don't have this. When you are making a couple $100 a month, that is relatable. That is what people can envision for themselves. When you are making buku bucks, people are like, that's nice.
Yeah.
Like, so if you're in this sweet spot and you're not taking advantage of it and being like, I want to make $500 a month one day. Like that's so great. So many people can be like, $500.
Right.
That's why I joined.
Yeah.
Like, truly, that was my end goal, is $500 a month.
I love it. Yeah, then that's what, and I think you wrote down, let's stop highlighting on these like giant recognition boards and millionaire earner who did this and crushed this company. I mean,
it's great.
It's inspiring. It's great, but most people are not going to look like that. And your organization is going to be full of like people that just, hey, I'm going to go at this at a different rate, like a different speed than people that
and I think people like the expectations, people feel like, oh, I didn't make a certain amount. Like I have like an Amazon link or whatever, and I use it on my personal page, and like Amazon notifying me like, you made $79. Like $79. I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
Extra money. Most people who do this business, it's extra. So like it's exciting. And
but in the same breath, you put them down because they're not working enough. So even if they did get an extra $75, obviously they're not allowed to say it, they're not allowed to share it because the results vary. And we understand that. But the fact is, regardless, no amount of money that they talk about really matters, because the people at the top are the ones that want to push you to keep going for harder. Regardless of if it's a little bit, it's I doubt that any of these leaders are listening and like, oh yeah, let's do less of that. Like, I doubt they're going to take that advice. Just in my opinion, because if it doesn't line their pockets and get their bottom line, they're not going to encourage like, oh, don't hustle hard. Don't work less. Don't celebrate the $50 you made, because or do celebrate it. But the fact is, like, regardless of how much they say these unpopular opinions, the next time they're gonna most likely detract from that.
It's exciting, and I feel like, you know, extra like excitement there all the time for people.
Right. And people need to remember that, because I'll have that whenever we do like a recruiting training or a training on how to build a team. It's like, well, I'm not making insane money. And it's like the standard is insane money. But it's like, but most people that are watching you, and I think you have a post up like you've done the past like 7 days. Most people can't cover a medical emergency or something like that, like some sort of an emergency fund. Most people don't have an extra $700 right now in an account sitting.
No.
And so that's why it doesn't freaking matter if you're making, you know, $85 on your Friday paychecks. Like, please tell people.
People are like, they feel embarrassed because it's like they feel like it's not extravagant enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's so exciting. I don't know anyone who would be like, yeah, I don't want to.
Right.
I mean, you guys talked about the makeup or the product that you're using. Somebody bought it and you get a kickback from it. Like that's exciting. Yeah. It works.
Be grateful. I think that's a big one too. I think the gratitude is what allows you to grow. It's kind of like I refer back to like body positivity.
But that's a constant thing they always push. They have to have the gratitude of the MLM. That's so unhealthy. Why are you giving this company, which does not normally care at all for its reps, all this credit where it's not deserved? In my opinion, it's undeserved. They don't deserve it. They don't pay them hourly rates or anything that they post or anything that they share about, they don't get they don't even get like insurance. Like the fact that you have to say they should be like sharing the grateful stuff. Yeah, they share about that all the time. That's not uncommon. But you are, it feels like they're just pushing a narrative.
Lose weight and love yourself until you look yourself in the mirror as you are. You are good. You are worthy. You can eat a donut today and you're not a piece of crap. And then like, but I think there's a big acceptance of like, I'm not a bad mama jamma who's crushing company sales. And that's not, I'm not a top recruiter, but I'm proud of my work. I'm proud of the reels I have. I'm proud of the way that I'm talking to people. And then that allows you to scale your income. But if you're always like, oh, my current team sucks. No one's doing anything in my business. My sales, I'm stuck. You know, if you're constantly repeating all these horrible affirmations about yourself, I think it's going to make it really hard for you to like step into who you really be.
What you focus on grows or whatever. I mean, I know it sounds cheesy.
Yeah.
It's true. If you're like, this sucks, I suck, I'm nothing, then guess what?
Yeah, like I'm like, where does that energy put us today? It really sucks.
Well, enabling the toxic positivity does not help your case because it's pushed all the time, not only in MLMs, but in churches, because it's like pushed all the time. And it's disgusting. It's unhealthy. It's not good to do because you should be able to feel what you want to feel, whether it's negative or whatever. Because if you're positive all the time, honestly, no one would probably want to be around you after a while. Because if you're so positive, and believe me, speaking from experience, being that person years ago, I don't know how anyone handled me. Because when you're all like, I mean, I wasn't constantly always positive, but like to be that sickeningly positive to the point where you want to throw up being around someone that positive, you're like, okay, can you please share an actual real emotion that relates, that doesn't involve trying to make it better? How about you just be real with people? And that's spreading this false narrative that you must always be positive. Well, maybe not everybody should always be positive because, well, there's good reasons to be negative. And not negative fully, but like to have a differing opinion. What's so bad about that?
You know, I know somebody who's a millionaire. Stop highlighting that. Highlight you. You're the bad bitch. You're it. Like, right. So
here for it. Relatability. It's everything. Okay, what's your next unpopular opinion? Or do I go? I don't know.
It's your turn.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. This is my unpopular opinion. Your upline doesn't owe you anything.
She's coming for the uplines.
I'm coming for the uplines. Stop. I'm actively speaking, just so everyone knows, I am an upline. I am a mentor, whatever. But listen, and I'm huge on it. I'm huge on being a present leader. Like I am probably what we were talking about. I am a little bit crack cocaine mentor. Like I live for the Zoom calls. I am a top performer in mentoring. I live for it though. It lights me on fire. It's like, you can't tell me not to do that. Yes. But, and so it does trigger some people because they're like, oh, my leader's not like Jackie Richards. It's like, but this is where my unpopular opinion comes in. You don't have to be a Jackie Richards or someone to have an awesome business. So my thought is this. I get a lot of DMs of like, oh, I wish I would have signed up with you, or I'm in Beachbody and my leader is not like you. You know, she doesn't do calls or whatever. If you guys have a system, like if there is a team system, if there is a team page with resources, and if you have Google on your phone and YouTube on your phone, my friend, you're gonna be fine. If you've got podcasts, the podcast app, Spotify, whatever, you don't necessarily need an amazing mentor to make this business, because there's women like Colleen who run communities for like a freaking so affordable to give you guidance on building a team, how to do follow-up, how to like it's freaking 2022. There's so much information out there. It is nice to have a mentor that will do weekly, you know, open roundtable calls, but it is not a reason to say, can't do this.
Right.
Okay.
And like also to piggyback on that, like if you don't see something that you want, then create it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
mm-hmm.
if you
create, there you go. It's the taking control.
Yes, like you're not just sitting there like, oh, nobody's doing it for me. Like if you want to have weekly Zoom calls, then guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Find some people in your organization and
guidelines, people, you can pull in people from other companies. Yes.
Yes, that's literally why I do what I do. But like, find the people. It doesn't like just saying this person who's a normal person like doesn't owe you anything. Like
yeah, because that is what it is, and I love that you said that too. I take so much from your little nugget post, but like we're 1099. Like I am not a boss. Like when I do an onboarding, like I straight up say like we ain't hand holding. I'm not pulling you. You're a contracted person. I'm a contracted person. You do what you want with this, like, and their success is not a reflection of me.
Right.
I'm proud to have systems as
Thank
a leader.
you.
Yeah, but I have nothing to do with someone that can come in here and clobber it or not clobber it.
Or not. Because I see people like, oh, and this is like people when it comes to like sponsoring, they're like, ah, I just feel bad like if they come in and I don't, and they're not successful. It's like, okay, but if they were successful, would you be like,
it's all of your hard work.
No,
it's so crazy. Yeah,
you're the person who brings them in, shows them the system, tell them what to do, and then they get to decide.
Yes, yeah, and that's what I really want to say that to any introverted uplines or any uplines where you're like maybe not a wham bam bam personality. Like it's okay. You can still be a powerful like mentor, but you are not like loud and whatever. Like I just think that let more people just stop being like, she won't even get on a phone call with me. How about instead of doing that, like be like, how can I form like whatever, a community of people that we can share opinions, or ask your upline like, hey, I noticed you don't do phone calls. How could I earn a phone call with you? Like taking, like I'm like all for like bringing this into like, all right, I noticed she doesn't do this, but how can I do that? Or can I climb up to her mentor and be like, hey, I know this isn't conventional, but I'd love to do this. How can I do that? Like, I just think there is a lot of entitlement sometimes. It's like the Amazon Prime culture we were talking about.
I love that you said.
I hate that they have to. I hate that they said it's the entitlement. I don't feel at all that it's in any way entitled. I don't believe that for a second. I believe that if you tell someone, hey, I'm going to help you, and then you drop them and say, no, I'm not going to help you, that's not entitled. That's called, if you're not going to do what you say you're going to do, just straight up say you're not going to do it. Say you got to go off on your own and do it. That's what it is. But if you're not being honest with them, that's not feeling entitled. I mean, they're entitled. They have an entitled attitude all the way through this. I'm just saying, in my opinion, I feel it's reeking of entitlement. And it's very gross. So, yeah, it's just the fact that they want to say, oh, they're entitled. No, maybe they just want your help. And if asking for help is such a big deal, then you should at least guide them to where they could go and start from there. But you should, but because you guys are always in this mentoring leadership, that they're not really leaders, not really good leaders in that, in my opinion, role, and they don't do any leadership quality roles that you're supposed to be doing, because, you know, if you're a leader, don't brag about being a leader. Don't. If you're not willing to do the work that a leader would do, and you're okay with just being like, nah, I'll let you scramble, I'll let you sink. No, you're not a leader. You're a POS in my opinion, but you're not a leader. But yeah, we'll keep going.
How to earn a call with you?
Yeah.
Rather than, can I just get on a call? Can we get?
No.
Guys, people's time is so valuable, and to, can I pick your brain? Can I do this? Can I do? They don't owe you that.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like the if then, like, or if when, like, if you do this, then we'll do that. Like, if you do 10 reach outs, or when you go get that next customer, then I know you're working and we'll talk about it. But I don't want to get.
Totally, because then you go on blindsided as a leader and you're like, oh, what do you want? Are you mad at me? What are we talking about? So yeah, I did the same thing too with a girl. Like, she wanted some clarity, and I said 10 more reels, and we'll get on next week, you know, and things like that. I feel like they force the person to start being messy. And then it's like, and then they start to kind of realize, oh, this is a learn as you go thing.
Ooh.
I don't really need a phone call with Jackie where she tells me what.
All right, so this is going to be another part 2 because it is quite long, so I'm going to stop it here for a second. And then we're going to continue this afterward. But I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry I rambled a lot. I'm going to hopefully not ramble as much in the next one. But I hope you enjoyed. Comment down below what you thought. I know I roll my eyes, but like Colleen drives me nuts. And to have that attitude is gross. And honestly, just not appealing. It in no way is that attitude ever appreciated, nor should it ever be acceptable, because in how you carry yourself and how you treat others in that same way, I question it. Knowing that she says these unpopular opinions. So I hope you enjoyed, and see you soon. Bye.